Since 2003 in France, people have been buying Siberian chipmunks as pets but then releasing them into the wild when they are no longer wanted. They are now classified as an invasive species. Figure 7 shows a Siberian chipmunk, Tamias sibiricus. Siberian chipmunks eat acorns, which are the seeds of oak trees. In Siberia, the natural predators of Siberian chipmunks are wild dogs. Figure 8 shows the biomass of 3 organisms in a food chain from one area of Siberia. So that's the combined mass of all the organisms in one trophic level, one feeding level. So you can see that in this area, wild dogs is 230 kilograms, chipmunks 2,200, and acorns 2,650 kilograms. As you'd expect, more mass for the producer, slightly less for chipmunks, and less for wild dogs, as energy is lost along the way. So draw a pyramid of biomass. So you don't have to be exactly right, because it's almost impossible using the squares given to be exactly right, because there's a massive difference in the values here. So you have to get the approximate shape. So I would make sure that the acorns are obviously really, really big by comparison. The next one would be the chipmunks, which are small. Notice how there's an equal spacing on either side of the central line, and then the wild dogs would be absolutely tiny by comparison. So as long as you've got an approximate shape like this, you're fine. Sometimes they may give you figures that you can actually accurately place, so therefore you'd have to give each of these a value, let's say like 50, 100, 50, and 250 on either side. In fact, I think that's what I did here anyway, so it ended up as 500 this side, 500 this side. But yeah, if you got this sort of shape, you would get 2 marks. In France, Siberian chipmunks have very few natural predators. Describe how this affected the Siberian chipmunk population in France. Well, if you have few natural predators, that means that obviously your chipmunk population is going to increase, and this leads to more chipmunks reproducing. Technically, I'd say this is more of an explain question, so they're a bit naughty doing that, because you're explaining the effect of this. So hopefully they won't do that too often. But anyway, so chipmunk population increases, so more can reproduce. The percentage of energy transferred from acorns to the chipmunks is 9.5%. The energy contained in the acorns is 97,500 kilojoules. Calculate the amount of energy transferred to the chipmunks. Give your answer to the nearest whole number. So what we're saying is 9.5% of that 97,500 kilojoules is transferred to chipmunks. So we just need to work out what is 9.5% of 97,500, and we'll have our answer. So basically 9.5%, to work out the percentage, you have to decimalize it. So you do 9.5% divided by 100, and that would be 0.095, and then times the figure in question, 97,500, and that would give you the answer, which would be 9,262.50 kilojoules. But it says, and make sure you pay attention to this, otherwise you lose a mark, the nearest whole number. So that means no decimal points. So this is a 5, so this rounds up to a 3. So it's 9263. If this was a 4, then it would stay as is, and you just get rid of that. But 5 or above, and it rounds up. The black-legged tick is a parasite that feeds on the blood of animals, including Siberian chipmunks and humans. The tick transmits the Lyme disease pathogen. Figure 9 shows the number of cases of Lyme disease in humans in France in 2003. Ticks are horrible things. Number of cases of Lyme diseases in humans in France, 9,500, and 2015 we have 27,000. Calculate the percentage increase in the number of cases of Lyme disease in humans in France from 2003 to 2015. Right, percentage differences are also very, very common, and it's an easy way to get 2 marks. Please make sure you go into an exam knowing how to calculate it, because you're going to get marks. So you find out the difference between the two, and then you divide that by the starting value, so the initial value, which in this case before the increase was 9,500, and then you multiply by 100. So difference divided by the original value times 100. So the difference is 27,000 minus 9,500. Make sure you work that out first. Do it step by step if you're not confident, and then divide by the original value, which was 9,500, and then times by 100. So it's a 184% increase. Don't let that phase you. Don't think, oh, because it's over 100%, it's wrong. Look at the value. It is more than double 9,500. It's increased by more than 100%. If this was 100%, then obviously 19,000 would be, 100% increase. This is more than that. Explain why there has been an increase in the number of cases of Lyme disease in humans in France. Well, this is one of those important examples of when you have to read across the exam paper and make sure you draw from information that you've already learned. So one thing that's obvious is they've made a point that the number of chipmunks has gone up. Okay, so that's what we found out from this question. Now, if we go down, we also know that, is it here? This tick feeds on the blood of animals, including Siberian chipmunks and humans. So if there's more Siberian chipmunks, it's more of a breeding ground for these ticks, and therefore more ticks means they can also feed off more humans. So that's the relevant information. So, explain. There's an increased number of chipmunks carrying ticks, increased chance of humans being bitten.